This week in Boomtown, 1,000 new homes coming to Pickaway County.
Did you ever expect something like what's going on across the road to ever come?
Absolutely not.
People who have lived there for years say the massive housing is not what they expected. How Scioto Township leaders are juggling growth and green space. Plus new condos in downtown Columbus. You might be surprised to hear how much some of them are selling for. Why neighbors say more housing would make downtown even better. And concerns from people in Westerville about losing land. A brand new massive project spanning 88 acres is coming east of Africa Road. City leaders tell us why they want people to be excited for what's coming. Central Ohio certainly is booming. We all see it and we all can feel it. From traffic to new homes and even crowded schools. Leaders in this region will have to figure out how to embrace nearly 1 million more people in the coming decades. So, here's what we uncovered this week in Boomtown. Thanks so much for joining us on This Week in Boomtown. I'm Angela Ann. Let's start with some headlines today. A West Jefferson neighborhood that fought against a biodigester coming to their community got a big win this week. Vanguard Renewables sent a letter to the Ohio EPA saying the project will not go through. Now, this was supposed to take place on a 20-acre cornfield right off Wilson Road in Madison County. The plan was to turn food scraps and manure into natural gas. Neighbors argued that facility would not only smell, but also hurt the air quality. Well, after 70 years, Worthington Steel is packing up and moving its headquarters to Easton. The company plans to relocate about 400 workers next year, but the move has some leaders in Worthington worried. They are now calling for action to prevent more businesses from leaving. And time to break out the bicycles. Columbus is getting a boost to make biking and walking safer around the city. A new grant will help fast-track projects like protected bike lanes on North 4th and Freebus Avenue, also safer intersections along Summit Street. This is all part of the city's bigger Bike Plus plan to make it easier for people to get around. Well, with so many new people moving into Central Ohio, some schools are bursting at the seams. This week, leaders at Teays Valley local schools say the district is running out of room and fast. School officials say they need to pass a multi-million-dollar bond issue for new schools to help ease the overcrowding. But not everyone is on board with that price tag. 10 News' Colin Dorsey went to Pickaway County to show us what's at stake in the May primary.
The district says it's out of space because everyone keeps moving into the northern part of Pickaway County. They've got to put the students somewhere. These two modular buildings now sit out behind South Bloomfield Elementary, and the district says without the passage of that bond issue, more of those are just in sight.
I plan a yes for them. I mean, the kids deserve it. I think it'll help the community too.
Teays Valley is asking voters to approve a bond issue worth $64 million of their dollars to keep up with rapid growth. Scattered around the district, you'll find a few of these signs rooting for the district's success Tuesday, but not everyone shares that sentiment.
And your thoughts on that levy are?
No. The individual taxpayer, right? I mean, we are just getting slammed.
Randy Joy says he's voting no. He's not against the schools or education, but with property taxes going up last year, it's a cost issue and feels there are places the district can cut instead.
I just think there's a better way to go about it. I think the school board's jumping the gun.
The northern Pickaway County looks much different than it did 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Kyle Wolf is the Teays Valley superintendent. He's crunched the numbers, and the district is adding between 100 and 150 new students per year to already overcrowded buildings.
If this fails, is just continuing to kind of kick that can down the road. Our capacity issues are not going to go away.
Not including the high school, Teays Valley currently has 6 schools in the district. If the levy passes, the district will reorganize the buildings. The 4 elementary schools will become preschool through 4th grade, and the 2 middle schools will solely house 7th and 8th grade. Then the district will build 2 new buildings for 5th and 6th grade.
Some of the opposition to this has been, why can't we find the money elsewhere to do this? Whether that be cutting auxiliary staff, why do we feel that it's a bond issue matter.
I want to remind you that our district did put in $10 million of its own funds into this issue to bring that dollar amount down.
That bond issue goes before voters Tuesday for families living in the Teays Valley School District. Colin Dorsey, 10 TV News.
Colin, thank you. Now here's another pain point for people in Teays Valley. There is talk of turning all this farmland in Scioto Township into more than 1,000 new homes. We spoke with people who said they moved out here for the peace and quiet, and they're not happy about the development.
I just want to have some say for the residents in this area what gets developed.
Now, Pickaway County Commissioners are set to discuss this plan on May 6th. We asked the Teays Valley School Superintendent about this development as well. Kyle Wolf said this, in part, our schools are already experiencing overcrowding, and additional student growth without a plan to address capacity will only make this challenge more difficult. You can read the full statement on 10tv.com. Well, we know development is nothing new. In Westerville, the city there has been expanding for years. A new project called East of Africa Road is bringing fresh construction, new jobs, and some concerns. This is in Delaware County, just below Polaris Parkway and Ohio Health. And while Westerville leaders are celebrating the benefits, some people who live there worry about losing the green space. 10 TV's Kristen McFarland went to Westerville to see why the city's latest project is stirring up mixed reactions.
Development is nothing new for the city of Westerville, but the sounds of construction mark the city's newest project. Business is booming in Westerville.
Great places to visit and nice things to see.
And more to come as these 88 acres east of Africa Road are developed.
We're building on the success of the Westar Business District.
That development brought over 10,000 jobs to the area.
Because of that success, we're starting to run out of land in Westerville.
5 sites for projects will be shovel ready for future businesses later next year. Not everyone in Westerville is for the project. Many who live along the road declined to go on camera, but said they're sad to lose green space. I asked economic developer Rachel Ray her response to those not in favor of the project.
As our community continues to grow, we're expanding our tax base. The income tax revenues generated are important to pay for city services, and the property taxes are important for our school district.
As people out and about enjoyed the Westerville scene, they reflected on the city's growth and looked toward the future.
If you definitely grew up in an area and that's just, all you've ever known, now everything's coming around you, having to move out for more of that solitude probably be frustrating for some people. Can definitely empathize with that.
Westerville already is like a pretty developed place. It's not like this hasn't been already happening over the years.
The city plans to preserve some greenways and create a pathway to connect different parts of the city to another. In Westerville, Kristen McFarland, 10 TV News.
Well, the demand for housing in Columbus is reaching a critical point, but it's not just for affordable mixed-use or single-family homes. There is a growing need for housing options at nearly every price point. Now, this week, we learned more about another major development in the heart of downtown Columbus. The historic Levesque Tower is now selling 69 of its former rental apartments. And get this, prices start at $250,000. They can go as high as $1 million.
Individuals and families should be spending no more than 1/3 of their monthly income on housing-related costs. Anything more than that, we start thinking of them as being housing burdened.
Well, these new condos will roll out in small batches over the next year and a half. Over to Geana now. This week, the city was voted the hottest zip code in America by Realtor.com, and it's the second year in a row for that title. Now, while that is a point of pride, the Geana mayor says it also brings benefits along with challenges. 10 TV's Bryn Caswell dug through the numbers to find out where the city stands in its efforts to redevelop into its full potential.
Geana is booming. 60 homes are on the market, and Creekside is bustling with energy. The city is already thriving, but the mayor says it can be even better.
For Emily Spackey, I like more of a suburb type feel.
Her love for Geana goes beyond four walls.
I'm a big runner, so I feel like there's so many different safe places I can run.
There's not too much she wants to see change.
I think maybe a farmer's market would be something cool to see in the downtown Creekside area.
But Geana Mayor Lori Jadwin knows other residents feel differently.
Now we're going to start peeling back the layers a little bit.
She says Geana's strategic plan to reshape the city, months in the making, is now entering phase 2. Its next step, community collaboration. A series of events called Vision Festival, starting in May, aims to spark conversations, giving residents a voice in writing the roadmap to Geana's future.
The fact that we are a hottest zip code is both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing in the fact that people want to be here in our community. The challenge is it has really tightened up the housing market.
Beautifully updated kitchen.
Realtor Jason Brewer says he's not surprised Geana won the title again.
It's just a great place to live. The community is wonderful, and there's just so much going for it.
His latest listing on Gold Place is Turn & Key, listed slightly over $500,000.
Vibrant, open ceilings.
Most homes in March sold in the 400,000 range.
Affordability is huge for the amenities that Geana offers. We have 750 acres of parkland. We have great shopping. We're close to the airport.
While Jadwin awaits more feedback from residents, she knows Creekside needs upgrades and better connectivity. The city's still searching for a developer to bring a new mixed-use project to the area.
We need to then drive more people to that area, which includes everything from housing to more office space and creating people being down there not only from 8 to 5, but then from 5 to 11 as well.
The Vision Festival kicks off next Tuesday with events happening all week long. For those details, just head over to the web version of this story at 10tv.com. Reporting in Geana, Bryn Caswell, 10TV News.
Looking forward to seeing what the committee says. Bryn, thank you so much. Well, this week we learned Columbus City Council is considering spending nearly $1.5 million to help people who are facing eviction. Now, that money will go toward free legal services, and we know this is a problem that may be more common than a lot of people realize. All you have to do is think about how easy anyone can wind up in that situation. Perhaps maybe it's a sudden layoff, or maybe you blow through savings to cover rent, food, gas, and other expenses, all while trying to find another job. Suddenly, you find yourself behind and faced with an eviction notice. Well, this week, the eviction court moved fairly smoothly as people waited for their cases to be called. Right outside the courtroom, you see here, various services were set up to help. We spoke with the managing attorney for legal aid about why this is so important.
March rent came and I didn't have it.
It was late and, it still could have been paid on time, but they, they're unavailable. Their office hours aren't what they should be.
Oftentimes we have defenses that we can use as leverage for settlement agreements and get tenants far better deals, whether it's a move-out date or a payment plan.
And supporters say money from the city is key to keeping the staff working here, since it is a free service to those who need the help. Well, this week was just the first reading by Columbus Council to fund this project. It'll come up again at the next council meeting in May. Well, here's something else council members are considering: allocating nearly $10 million to help people who are experiencing homelessness. That money would come from both the general fund and the income tax set-aside subfund. This initiative would help ensure timely support for people who are at risk of homelessness by covering essential needs like food and shelter. This week, we also learned how many people are experiencing homelessness here in Franklin County. The Community Shelter Board released its annual point-in-time report, and it shows a 7.4% increase in those who are experiencing homelessness. That's more than 2,500 people at any given time.
Seeing the worst homelessness year after year after year that we've ever seen.
Shannon Isom is the president and CEO of the Community Shelter Board, and she said there is hope on the horizon. The number of people who are unsheltered and homeless is actually down. These are people who are living outdoors or in spaces not meant for habitation.
That's good news. As awful as it is, that's good news, because what it's telling us is that we potentially have some strategies, some tools that are working in concert to mitigate the growth.
Some big news for bus riders this week. COTA is expanding its service hours, and several routes will now run past midnight for the first time. COTA says this is the first big step towards becoming a 24-hour public transit system. And here's why many of you helped make this happen. COTA says the extended hours are a result of voters like you who approved Link Us, which increased the sales tax in Franklin County and many other counties where COTA services are offered. Now, in Fairfield County, city leaders there just unveiled a new name for its transit system. This is now called The Link. And at a ribbon-cutting ceremony, officials said it's also a renewed vision for accessible transportation. We asked leaders how this rebrand will better connect people to jobs, healthcare, education, and other opportunities. Here's what they told us.
It's really hard for the city of Lancaster to be able to serve the rest of the county. So we're venturing beyond just the city limits of Lancaster. We've got routes in place. We're looking to be able to expand that curb to curb surface that people can call up and request. That would be in addition to the regular loops that are running right now.
Andrea Cordell says the Link's curbside service would run 6 days a week, and there are 7 fixed routes, including one in Pickerington, where fares are reduced for eligible riders and children.
And the timing of this is certainly, it needs to happen now, right? Given the growth that I'm sure you're seeing in Fairfield County. We've had the Link Us that passed here in Franklin County. So is transportation top of mind when it comes to some of the booming challenges?
Yeah, sure. So the Fairfield County commissioners here are focused on, 3 big things that they're being confronted with. Development is driving that. So we're wanting to make sure that we've got enough housing for folks and we can get folks to where they need to be. So that's the transit component. But then also looking at, are we skilling up people and the ways that our employers need? So those 3 things, housing, workforce training, and transit, they all go hand in hand.
And speaking of workforce, we leave you with this. This week, JP Morgan Chase opened its doors to the next generation of tech talent right here in Central Ohio. More than 100 middle schoolers from Olentangy and Hillard schools got hands-on with technology at the bank's Polaris office. They got to explore everything from coding to cybersecurity.
So we hope that they get some of that awareness piece of it and see what it looks like and think maybe this could be a choice for me. And like we were talking about earlier with course selection and like gauge what they might look for in a pathway going forward.
Bright young minds right there. With 5,000 technologists already based in Columbus and tech jobs really booming, this was a chance for students to see just how many career paths are really available and perhaps spark a passion. We do want to hear from all of you. If you have questions related to Central Ohio's rapid growth, or maybe you want us to look into something for you, you can always text us your questions or concerns at this number, 614-460-3345. And if you are watching us on your YouTube channel, make sure to like, comment, or subscribe, and then drop your question right there in the comment section, and we'll do our best to respond to you. Thanks again for watching This Week in Boomtown. We're so glad you're here. I'm Angela Ann.